Oh, car culture is constantly influenced by the media. Things like movies, music, and 20 years ago, the spawn of YouTube. And well, the passion for cars has eclipsed the rise and fall of Facebook, in my opinion, Instagram, and whatever Threads is, I'm not entirely sure. TikTok seems the place to be. And today, we're talking about the car culture that's breeding from it. The stuff you know, the stuff you probably don't, and the stuff you definitely don't. So welcome to the place where we help people mod their cars the right way, MartiniWorks.com. Get your parts from your friends, and if you need help, we're always here to answer questions. We sell wheels, tires, wheel and tire packages, performance parts, and everything in between. Now, I know how Iceberg videos work because I got yelled at in the comment section, but this TikTok car culture iceberg is gonna be broken down into 3 parts. Number 1, what is it even? And how is it different from anything else? And then we're gonna go into the 201 class, which how it's influenced car communities and even brand deals and how people even create content. And finally, we're gonna get into the nitty gritty, dirty, slimy, incognito stuff that no one knows about unless you're into it, which after coming back from F1 Miami as an ambassador for Ford Performance, I can confidently say that this world is way deeper than even I thought. So what is TikTok car culture? I would break it down as a changed look on how builds fundamentally work. While YouTube started to slowly pivot people towards bigger and bigger videos where more and more was happening in that single video, TikTok has turned into a mini-series of mini-series where things as simple as oil changes could be done, captured, and posted for a ton of views. Now, pair that with easier accessibility to content creation with that thing in your hand, no, the other one, and you get the undisputed truth that being a car content creator has become easier than ever before. There are 1.8 billion people on TikTok, and an average person watches a Game of Thrones episode of content on that every single day. And because TikTok shifted the value away from audience building and more towards content engagement, what was once a relatively tough thing to understand has actually gotten pretty easy, which I still can't seem to crack the code personally. But that's not besides the point. This should be good, right? Well, it's different. Where in a 10-minute YouTube video to prove what you know and what you're talking about, you now need to try doing that in 60 seconds, usually less if you want to get views. And the car culture that's erupted from this has been enthusiasts that aren't the same as those that you'd find on YouTube or Facebook, and definitely not forums. Culture is more focused around hype, excitement, and wow factors. Now, for Adam LZ, who started drifting, you have a Grant Sloan modifying an EV Dodge. For every Modi car mods, you now have the sign guy modifying drift cars. It's not bad, but it is different, and different can be good. Kind of like Twitter, you know, where posting just kind of seems like you're yelling in a crowded room to get attention. TikTok car culture can sometimes feel like either stumbling into a local restaurant you've never heard of and having the dinner of your life, or being in shoulder to shoulder with Discord mods about when the con is about to open. Now, the middle ground is a needle's edge, and it's begun to influence more than just 10-second video swipes. It's influencing car communities and the brand deals within them and how people even create content. Like, did you know last year TikTok shop and deals accounted for more than $33.2 billion. TikTok has dethroned Volkswagen from being the brand for enthusiasts to being Bavarian Motorworks. Somehow everybody's got enough money to own a BMW, and Porsches have gone from track-oriented street cars to angelic inspirations for 16-year-olds. And Audi has all but disappeared as an option for younger car enthusiasts, and it's being replaced by Nissan 240SXs for $15,000. And communities that wouldn't be caught dead with off-brand parts are now buying Alibaba wheels and non-branded tires and bragging about it. Now, is it good or bad? I think some people might argue that it's commoditized and generalized an otherwise pretty niche hobby. Alex, you're such an old man. You're talking like a boomer. I can hear it in my voice. But I do see it from all ends. Brands that work with us on the Meta Martini side of things and want to know how to get an influencer to talk about their brand on TikTok over a do-it-yourself channel on YouTube, we see how much companies are willing to pay these TikTokers. And I see it on my own personal channels as well. It's weird, it's different. But the brand deals in the TikTok world right now aren't the greatest. Deals with eBay, Pirelli, MartiniWorks, sure, those are good, but the TikTok shop itself is garbage. And I'm gonna explain why. And this is where we start to get a little bit deeper into the iceberg. The thing here is that TikTok shop doesn't allow for content creators to sell branded car parts, just things approved, like scanners and non-branded parts, the things that you probably find on a general page of Amazon. And that's a problem because if you want to grow a big following on TikTok and you want to try and make more money, you're pretty much locked into what you can promote. No tires, no intakes, no wheels, no performance parts, no engine mods, none of that. You can only talk about that stuff that you're naturally going to gravitate towards. And this is the thing, if you can only promote OBD scanners, you're probably gonna only talk about OBD scanners. And if you gravitate towards it, you're not gonna push your audience to grow outside of it, which is a growing thing in the community right now. And as of today, mechanical parts, fuel, car electronics exceeding a certain decibel, and apparently postal stamps are all banned. You can't post about them and make money off of them. So what ends up happening? You have a bunch of people out there that love cars, regardless on if they're 12-year-olds or 30-year-olds, and that's a good thing. And you get people starting to make content on TikTok, which is also equally awesome. But you start to get pushed into this space where you can't talk about everything that could potentially make you some money, like selling wheels, for instance. You're left with OBD scanners and sometimes, unfortunately, just ad revenue. So as a content creator, you have a choice on what you can post about. You can spend a lot of time trying to educate on something that might be a little bit more niche, or you can go and you can hit the ground running with a big, loud, exciting, and sometimes something you might not even believe in to get the thing that matters most, which are views and ad revenue. Now, this is a problem that plagues almost every single social media channel. If you wanted to go out there and go viral on YouTube, you could. And there's a lot of people that have done that, and good on them for that's the path that they want to go down. But not everybody wants to be like that. Unfortunately, TikTok has become a place where I think almost everyone spends at least some time on, which means if you want to be a content creator and you want to get views, sometimes folks end up falling into the trap of going towards the algorithm. And this is where we start to get into the nitty-gritty of it all. Because honestly, you're kind of stuck. You have content creators that are doing raps on things that they know look ugly so that they can get views. You've got people promoting stuff through TikTok Shop because TikTok at the end of the day is actually messaging and emailing these creators saying, please use this and we'll give you a bump in potential engagement. You have companies that are now going through that you've probably never heard of, spending loads of money trying to sell to 16 and 18-year-olds absolutely everywhere. TikTok is young. It means that newer content creators and the things that platforms are allowed to do is also young. And to be honest, I'm not sure TikTok wants that. And the nitty-gritty of it all is that a lower average order value drives higher retention. Consumer purchasing and ad revenue is how places like TikTok make money, especially with the creators. And with the goal of pushing TikTok into becoming an SEO engine to fight against companies like Google, what you're left with is a social media app that can't support the full range of what an automotive content creator might need to establish themselves past ad revenue. And that is huge because ad revenue is not how you want to build your future, forever at least. And that is kind of where we get into this weird space. As an automotive content creator, if you can start to make money through other things, that's always a good thing to do. And to do that means that you have to become more knowledgeable in it. You have to start sharing your experiences with it, and you have to start spending time actually driving into it. It's one of the things that I've really enjoyed about MartiniWorks is that we get to talk to you about really cool things like this, but at the end of the day, we're not trying to make this whole thing work off ad revenue. We want to help people mod their car the right way. And there's a lot of TikTok content creators out there that are properly good at creating some really incredible content, but the platform itself doesn't allow these folks to get further into it. And a lot of people would say, if you are in the content space, that you're not really getting access to your audience the same way that you used to. Back in the day when you made a YouTube video, everyone would see it if they were subscribed to your channel. That's how the subscription system worked. That was the best part about it. And as you grew that audience, you could monetize it, and it felt very authentic because they like you, they like what you talk about, and they support you. It was a very simple step. But somewhere along the way, TikTok started to say, hey, we can provide you a For You page that is better than your own tailored subscription page. A lot of people didn't think it would work, but it did. It also took something that was a 10-minute video, and I've probably lost half of you, and has turned it into a 30-second video. And so now these massive content creators are leaning so heavily on platforms like TikTok, and they don't really control the audience that they've built. For instance, you've seen a lot of really popular TikTok content creators come and go 10 times as fast as you've seen a YouTube content creator, because that TikTok content creator doesn't have truly good control over the audience that they've built. You pair that with the fact that the channel can't actually garner additional revenue outside of what TikTok allows, and you started to already limit yourself on a lot of controls of what makes an automotive content creator a content creator. And that's where I see a lot of the issue with this iceberg. You start to see a lot of folks start to just go into shock value, building cars that they don't actually believe in, saying things to grab a view or grab a click. But unfortunately, TikTok has no longer allowed for the communication of big topics, and now it has only allowed for maybe 2 to 3 key points, and that can sometimes hurt you. Now, does that mean TikTok is a bad thing? I think TikTok is a great thing. TikTok is probably one of the best things to come to social media. But it's important for everyone to understand out there that the views on TikTok are not the same thing as a view on a YouTube. They're not the same thing as being an actual car content creator who might need to take a couple years to build their car. Don't get it twisted. No matter which way you're looking at content, no matter which way you're looking at the automotive industry, how you build your car is entirely up to you. How long it takes is entirely up to you. And you definitely don't want to feel pressured that just because somebody can do a wrap on their car in 24 hours, that means that you putting an intake on your car is somehow not as cool. Just be careful as you jump into this space because it is a pretty dangerous space and it can take away a lot of the fun of what makes a car enthusiast a car enthusiast. And that, my friends, is what we believe the TikTok car culture iceberg to be right now. And we certainly hope it continues to grow in the right direction, and I think it will with time. We're a part of it. I think everybody in this room creates content on TikTok. The only thing that I wish is that hopefully we can get people to pay a little bit more attention to sharing good educational stuff that's right versus just the stuff that might be getting them a couple sales through TikTok shop, whatever that might be. But I'm Alex Martini. You let me know if I sound like an old man. I certainly might. That's definitely fair. You guys asked for me to talk about this, so here you go. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Mod your car with your friends over at MartiniWorks.com. And of course, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow.